Hey guys, this is Chris, Tabletop Sports Delaware. Welcome to Strat-O-Matic University, and today we are going to do a basic level instructional video on making your lineup card. Now, there is no one way to make your lineup. You can do it any way you want. This is going to be for those who may not quite grasp the idea of things you can do with the lineup, where you can place players, how you can create situations with where your players are in the batting order. Some of us, we have our own ways of doing it. It kind of comes naturally, so I thought I'd just put my spin on it for those of you who may be new to this degree of strategy with the game, or baseball's always interested you, and you watch some games and you decided, I'm going to get this game and play it. This is kind of how generally lineups are figured out, so I thought I would go ahead and help you out with that. So, that being said, I'm going away. First thing you do, any baseball game you have, I'm going to be using Strat-O-Matic because that's what this is. It's Strat-O-Matic University. First thing you do, you take your team and you separate the players by position, okay? Because you're going to pick who's going to be in the lineup in each position. And for this example, we'll be using the 2015 New York Mets. As you can see here, I'm going to have essentially 9 piles of players, the bigger one being the pitchers. First base, second base, third base, shortstop, left field, center field, right field, catcher, pitchers. We want to decide who is going to be playing in the game we're playing. So we'll do pitchers last. It's probably going to be DeGrom because, it's DeGrom. One thing I will say, there will be instances where you'll only have one player where a position is listed first on their card, such as Curtis Granderson, right field. There will be other players that can play right field. So I'm going to say all the positions with only one player where it is listed as their primary position, hold them aside. You can do them later. See what other players might be able to plug into that position should you so choose. So we're going to pick all these up and we'll do them first. And we're going to go based off the information we placed in the videos, in the basic videos. First, let's go over second base. We're going to have Kelly Johnson and Daniel Murphy. The first thing you can do, look at at-bats. Both of them have over 300 at-bats. Murphy has many more at-bats, almost 500. Kelly Johnson can be plugged in pretty much anywhere. 265 batting average, 281, fielding 4, fielding 3. On base and slugging are pretty much the same. Johnson is going to strike out more, 81 in 67% of the at-bats to 38. So we're probably going to start Daniel Murphy at second base. Take these and set them aside, because you can look at the other player positions that the players you don't select do, and you might decide to plug them in somewhere else, even though it's not their primary listed position. So Murphy is going to be our second baseman. Let's see. Let's go with third, since I just happen to have third base ready to go. Eric Campbell, David Wright, and Juan Uribe. Now, there's probably some lefty-righty matchups going on here as far as the number of at-bats, but this is basic. Lefty-righty is not taken into account with basic baseball, so you can select whoever you like. 197 batting average, probably not. We'll move him aside. 289, 253. Now, David Wright is rated a 3, has a better batting average of 289. Juan Uribe has a rating of 3. He's got many more bats, but for this game, we're probably going to play David Wright. Why not? We can. So we'll have David Wright playing third. Let's look at shortstop. We have Wilmer Flores and we have Ruben Tejada. Flores has considerably more bats. Not that many more. They're both 260 batters. A little more power on Flores' part. Same stealing, same running. Better defensive shortstop in Tejada, which is something to consider. 3s and 4s, a few more hits can squirt through for a 4 than for a 3. Same with errors committed. But on a whole, I'm looking at Flores. Even he's got more at bats. He's got a little more power. His running 111, Tejada 112. So on the base paths, it's going to be a wash. So we're probably going to go with Flores at short. Da-da-da. Let's look at left field. We have Alex Guerrero, Michael Conforto, yeah baby, and Michael Kadire. I believe that's how that's pronounced. I think I was told that. Michael Kadire. Let's see. You have at bats 174 Conforto in 2015, not quite so much. 270 batter, some decent power. Left field rating of 3. Average is lower for these guys. And slugging is higher with Conforto. Base running and stealing are there. Fielding is better. Conforto is probably going to play this game. Why not? So, we have Conforto, who's going to be in left. Da-dee-da. Let's look at center field. We have Juan Lagares and Yoenis Cespedes. More at bats for Lagares. More power for Cespedes. His slugging is 604 to 358. Center field 2, center field 2. A little bit better on the base paths. Better batting average. Much better OBP, on base percentage 337 to 289. So I think Cespedes is going to play this game. Again, lefty righty, it does not really matter. You can do it any way you want. Let's look at the catchers. Kevin Plawecki and Travis d'Arnaud, just about equal in at bats. Plawecki is a better defensive catcher, so that's going to lessen the opponent's ability to steal. d'Arnaud has a much better batting average, 268 to 219. Same with slugging and on base. Considerably more power. Trade-off defensively. In this instance, I'm thinking go with Plawecki. Let's go with the defensive catcher. Let's do that. So we have done, and you can pick whoever you like, but we have gone through 6 positions of the 9. So for the 7th position, first base, Lucas Duda, we only have 1 carded player, primarily first base. So we're going to go through all the others that we had. Michael Kadire can play first, and Eric Campbell and Kelly Johnson can play first. So let's get them all in here and consider them all. Lucas Duda, of course, he's first base only when he plays. He's got 471 at bats. He fields at a 3 defensively. Campbell's a 4, Kadire's a 4, and Johnson's a 4. So defensively, Duda is it. He's got 27 homers. He's got the power. Looking at the cards, he's got slugging and on base, so we are definitely going to go with Duda in this game, I believe. That is number 7. Again, this is not how everybody does it, and this is not how everybody does it every single game. But just showing you my process for weeding through the players I'm going to have in the lineup. Right field was the other position that we only had 1 primary right fielder listed, which was Curtis Granderson. We have Kelly Johnson. Michael Kadire can play right. He's on his card. Juan Lagares can play right. And that's it. So we have 4 that can play right field. Granderson, 580 at bats. He was the right fielder. He's rated at a 2 defensively. So is Lagares. 26 homers. He's got the power. He's got more slug and on base than everybody else. So I do think that Granderson is going to be our right fielder. It never hurts to check to see if there's someone else you want to put in. But there you go. Now, this team does not have what you would call much in the way of speed. However, that's what we've got right there. our pitcher. We're going to, and something else, I'll keep these guys to the side. So they are our pinch hitters, our pinch runners, our defensive substitutions. So we've got our starters. We have our backups. Now we're going to take our pitchers. First, you separate them. Start, relief, relief, relief. He's got starter on the card. We'll put him up there, even though he's starter and relief. Pure relievers go over here. Relief, 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 relief. Syndergaard starter, Bartolo Colon. Okay, I might have to change it. I love Bartolo Colon. Everybody does. So we have 5 pitchers that have starter on their cards. Now, if I had more than 5, I would organize them. Personally, I do it by ERA, and then anyone more than 5th, I would take them and place them in the relief pile as long as they had relief on their card as well. Then they become available out of the bullpen. So let's see. Let's move the reliever, the bullpen over here. We have Matt Harvey. He has a 271. Bartolo Colon has a 416. Noah Syndergaard has a 324. John Neese has a 413. He has innings pitched 177, Cologne 195. So yeah, that's pretty good. 150, 189. Jake DeGrom 191. He's a 254. So he would be the first starter on this team for me. He would be my number 1. Then it is Harvey, Syndergaard, Neese, and America's favorite Bartolo Colon. And then I take my relievers and I separate them by ERA. So you have, let's move the starters. You have Torres is in the 3s. Addison Reed is in the 3s. Eric Goodell is in the 2s. Tyler Clippard is in the 3s. Hansel Robles in the 3s. Villanueva is in the 2s. Jeurys Familia, he is in the unos. And Sean Gilmartin's in the 2s. So that is how I would separate these. Whoever's closest to the front, that's probably who I would more than likely go with in a given situation, just in basic. Advanced, you can consider whether they're better against lefties or better against righties. But let's see, 267, 243, and Jeurys Familia. Okay, so this is probably how the team is going to look. Jake DeGrom is going to pitch. All right, we've selected our lucky 9 players for the game tonight. We've selected them. Where are we going to put them? We know who's playing. We know what position they're playing. Or are they going to bat? That's primarily what this video is about. So let's go over a few tips if we can. Okay. First of all, separate your players by position, which we have done. Secondly, select a player for each position, which we have done. And then third, we are going to place our players in order in our lineup. Okay. Now you have 9 batters, so you have 9 batting slots, 9 positions in the batting order, and we need to figure out what that order exactly is going to be. And also, just so it's in there, Jake DeGrom uses a number 3 pitcher's hitting card, so we will go ahead and get out a number 3 pitcher's hitting card. So that way, that is going to be him. Right there. Alright. So we has these 9 players. How do we decide? This is how I decide. First of all, your first batter, you need to have speed. You need to have somebody who is going to steal bases, get around the bases quickly. Omar Moreno, Willie Wilson, and Ricky Henderson out of the late 70s, early 80s comes to mind. Anybody with A's or AAs or triple A's, even B's would be good to have in a position like that. Now you'll notice here, of all the stealing ratings, the highest one is a C. So the 2015 Mets don't have any speed. then you want to get somebody who is going to have a high on-base percentage. I don't care if it's hits, I don't care if it's walks, I don't care if it's bribes to the umpire's grandmother. If they can get on base, you want them at the front, so that way the guys behind them can get them around. So let's see, on-base percentage. We have Granderson at 364, and he's a C. I'm going to discount the E's and D's. I'm going to look at only the C players first, I think. So let's look at Yoenis Cespedes. Let's look at... those are our two. Cespedes, slightly better base running, slightly better batting average. On base is better, though, for Curtis Granderson. He gets a lot more walks. And since he has better batting average, it might behoove us to put Yoenis Cespedes second. Of course, Granderson, 26 homers. You want him lower in the lineup. We're going to put Cespedes in a leadoff. Yes, I know. Why? I don't know. But that's the way we're going to do it for this example. Yoenis Cespedes is going to be our leadoff batter. Okay? Second, you want someone with great average, great batting average. On base or speed is a plus. Well, we don't have speed. So our on base guys, you're looking at Curtis Granderson, but I'd really like to save him for later. Let's see. 379 David Wright is a possibility, because he's got a good on base percentage. So he will get on base, and his 289 average is not too shabby. That's going to get base hits. That's going to move Cespedes around. As a matter of fact, with that on-base percentage, that might be cause to put David Wright leading off. And perhaps put Cespedes in second in the batting order. Because there's your on-base for him. Which means he's going to get on base. He's going to move that guy around. Lucas Duda is a third one. Well, let's see what I generally would do for my third spot in the batting order, which is I want average or power. I'm starting to get into the power portion of the lineup. 3, 4, and 5 is where I want my home runs. I happen to have, let's see. I'm looking at these players. Average is not awesome. Daniel Murphy bats 281. So we've got our average. He's got 14 homers, so we've got a little bit of power. He can knock them around. But for that, and with an on-base of 322, we may do even more, because the power Yoenis Cespedes brings to the table, we might move him down to third. Reason being, these guys at 281 and 289 are probably going to get, one of them is probably going to get on base. And Cespedes, with those homers in his 2 column, is probably going to, and triples and doubles, extra base hits, is probably going to stand a good chance of getting them around the bases, if not in. So we're looking at Wright, Murphy, and now Cespedes. 287, 17 homers and only 230 at bats. That's your average and your power for number 3. Number 4, you want your home runs there. Chances are one of these 3 guys is on base and there's only 2 outs. You want to put your cleanup batter in a position to maybe score 2 runs. And here we are going to be looking, I think, at Curtis Granderson. We could look at Lucas Duda. He is a 244 batter, 27 homers and 471 at bats. But we look at Curtis Granderson, and he is 26 homers and 580 at bats. So a little more power from Lucas Duda, but I think we are going to go with Curtis Granderson in this instance. Better batting average. Better than these guys, yes. Yes, I think so. And then Lucas Duda is probably going to be 5th, because you still want your power and your average in those middle 3 like that, as best as you can. Knocking those guys around. So that's basically what I do with my top 5. Try to get a fast guy as fast as possible on first. Then someone who can knock them around. Fast preferred, but someone with good batting average. average. And then you get into your batting average and power and home runs for 3, 4, and 5. That's what they typically call the heart of the lineup. Then let's go to number 6, the best of the rest. Wilmer Flores, Michael Conforto, and Kevin Plawecki. Catcher doesn't need to go 8th. If the catcher is good, he can be cleanup. He's only got a 219 with a low 280 on base. He's probably going to be 8th in this lineup. We're looking at batting average 263, 270, on base 335, slugging percentage 506. Now, something that I've toyed with in the past is making micro lineups out of the rest. And a micro lineup here would be somebody with a decent batting average that may get on base, and then somebody who is going to be able to bat him around. Slugging. I think we would do that. I think we'll put Flores in 6th and Michael Conforto in 7th. And that's going to leave us Kevin Plawecki in 8th. Whoever you decide to put there is totally fine. And then 9th is going to be the pitcher, which will be Jake DeGrom. And one thing to remember, this is a National League kind of lineup. If you're playing an American League or a DH kind of game, plug in your DH anywhere up here where you feel it's appropriate. If your DH is an average guy, get him up here. If for some reason your DH is someone who's fast, yeah, lead off as possible, or second. If your DH is home runs, plug him into the heart of your lineup here. The pitcher will be excluded in a DH game, so the pitcher won't bat. So your designated hitter, you're going to plug into the lineup anywhere up here. But yeah, that is making the lineup. And then, of course, once you get your sheet, then you simply write the lineup in. And this is how you make your lineup card. So we're going to have, let's do this so you can see from start to finish. Boom, 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 boom. All right, for the 2015 New York Mets, batting first is going to be Lucas Duda. And I misplaced my ink pen. That'll work. Okay. All right, so David Wright. Duh, get it correct there, Christopher. Let's see. Let's do that, so that way we can see this whole thing. Okay, batting first is going to be David Wright. He is going to be playing third base. These are not Strat-O-Matic score sheets. I don't have Strat-O-Matic score sheets because I got Strat-O-Matic score sheets 6 or 7 years ago when I got the game. I never renewed them because I really like these payoff pitch score sheets. Fantastic. And they have places to write all of the information that you're going to need to. He plays third base. Fields at a 3. His running is 1 through 12, and his stealing rating is a D. That is our first batter. We've chosen our second batter in a lineup, Daniel Murphy. So we will write him into the second slot on the lineup card. He's going to play second base. He is rated defensively at a 4. His run rating is 1 through 12. And his stealing rating is an E. These guys are not going to be stealing a lot of bases. These guys have pitchers. Batting third is going to be Yoenis Cespedes. And we've got him plugged in center field. And defensively, he'll be playing at a 2. He's got a 1 to 15. And I thought about, as you remember, I thought about putting him higher in the lineup, but with power like this and good batting average and on-base percentage up here, I decided to get these guys on base so Cespedes could knock him around. And if Cespedes could knock him around, we go to our cleanup batter, which is Curtis Granderson. He's playing right field today. And his defensive rating is a 2. His run rating is 1 through 14 safe. And he's got a stealing rating of C. We go to our 5th batter, is going to be Lucas Duda. He is our first baseman, playing defensively at a 3. His run rating is 1 to 10 safe. His stealing rating is an E. Our 6th batter is going to be Wilmer Flores, who is going to be the Mets' shortstop for this game, and defensively he is rated at a 4. His run rating is 1 to 11 safe, and his stealing rating is an E. Our 7th batter is going to be a young Michael Conforto. He is our left fielder. He is playing rated defensively at a 3. His run rating is 1 to 11. And his steal rating is an E. Our 8th is going to be Kevin Plawecki. He is our catcher. He is a defensively rated at 2. So that means the opponent, he is going to be taking 3 away from their ability to steal bases if the runner is held. His run rating is 1 to 10, and his stealing rating is an E. And our final batter is going to be Jake DeGrom, the pitcher. Now on older cards, they don't have fielding ratings like the 1. The hitters cards will show you stealing is an E, running is 1 to 10, pitcher fielding rating is 2, and it's a generic kind of thing. The lineup cards that come with season sets will have ratings different than this for pitchers that have something different than that. But for simplicity's sake, I just run it off of that. So pitcher, defensively at a 2, his running safe range is 1 to 10, and an E stealer. And then on these, we write those down. DeGrom, 2015 New York Mets. That is how you do your lineup. Hopefully this helped. Kind of a longer video, but I really wanted to show you my thought process front to back, and if it helped, fantastic. Like I said, this is by no means the way to do a lineup for baseball games, let alone for baseball. There are many ways to do it. It depends on personal preference, strategy. If you want to go alphabetical, if you want to throw your cards up in the air and see which one's laying closest to your feet and work your way out, it doesn't matter. You play the game, you want to play it. If anyone tells you you're doing it wrong, they're doing it wrong because they have no business telling you that. Unless, of course, you're landing on Illinois Avenue and collecting $1,100. That is the wrong game. You're doing it wrong. But again, and we'll put these up, I mean, this is kind of what I look to do with my batting order, slot by slot, and hopefully this was able to make things a little easier for you. This has been Strat-O-Matic University, making your lineup card, going hand in hand with the basic line of instructional videos. This is Chris with Tabletop Sports Delaware. Thank you very much for watching, and have a wonderful day. Keep on rolling.